Hello everyone, Valdestot here, and on today's video, as you can see on the screen, I am not just tired of this Doordash Pitch Man that I've been having to hear news about, and actually I'm going to tell you about a personal experience that I had when I started Doordashing back 2.5 years ago, and I talked to this individual on Facebook in our local Facebook group that, since we're only one state away from him, I guess that Facebook group back then had him in it because back then it wasn't as big at a community as it is now in today's world. So things might be said, and that I did say that tired had a double meaning because I haven't slept in close to 19 hours. I did take a 2-hour cat nap, but I'm trying to get back on a schedule, so I'm having to stay up so I can get back on this schedule. I will tell you all about what's been going on with us in a later video, but for now, things might be said, there may be foul language, my voice may be raised, so if my voice is raised and there's distortion, I apologize in advance. Viewer discretion advised, as they say on TV and on the movies, right? So, I am tired of this one person, and this person is no other than... Oh, wait. First off, there will be no script and no notes. This is going to be pure, unadulterated Valdestot with little to no sleep. Yes, these PowerPoints are going to be simplistic, and this is just going to be me talking. Truly Valdestot's voice. So, here is the guest of honor for today's discussion. Let this picture sink in. You can smile, you can laugh, you can rage against me if you're a Bentley Coop supporter. Frankly, I don't care. Whether I get likes, dislikes, or not, this topic needs to be said. Other YouTubers out there have already talked about him and have had reaction videos, which Hannibal is hungry. Great video, by the way. But I don't watch Doordash Diaries. I refuse to, based off of what happened over 2.5 years ago. So this is why I'm making this video. This picture right here. You know, this is the complete antithesis, the complete opposite of what is happening with Doordash. More money, less work. Bullshit. I don't know what this idiot is smoking, but after watching Hannibal's reaction video, because again, I don't watch this fool, and here's why. So, story time with Valdestot. As a new dasher, starting out in December of 2018, literally never did any gig work before. Came straight from an Amazon fulfillment center. Heard that Doordash was pretty good back then. And we decided, after my wife was working there close to 5 years at a fulfillment center, and I worked there about almost 3.5 years as a picker, sorter, ICQA, stower. My wife pretty much did everything as well as pack. So back then, I hear that it's different nowadays, but back then there were unreasonable rates. As a picker, we had to walk 8 to 12 miles a day in 10 hours. And and we were looking for a change because our bodies were wearing down. We were in our early 40s when we quit. Well, mid 40s. Now, close to, okay, anyway, in that range. So we decided to take the plunge after reading about DoorDash. We need to find some work, and it seemed like, why not be our own boss? Flexibility, etc., right? So doing this work in our market, as I kept saying, we are spread out. There are 3 zones back then, and we weren't exactly sure what to do except just take orders. Like any new driver coming from a W-2 employee market, back then YouTube wasn't as big as it is now. Back then it was just Gig Coach Jake, Paid to Drive, and UDM in his earlier days. And Team LMDU. Those are the 4 YouTubers I listened to. We listened to for tips. Gig Coach Jake was awesome. I liked him a lot because he's a lot like me, a numbers guy, but he doesn't YouTube anymore. I think he's still a coach, but he does it off social media. He doesn't do it, he's offline. He's not on social media anymore, not on YouTube, none of that as far as I know. So the original drivers know who I'm talking about. This is what irked me in the beginning. And I told UDM this when I used to watch him a lot back then. So I was in that Facebook group explaining our plight, excessive miles, taking practically every order. We had like a 95% acceptance rate, and we were upset because we didn't know what we were doing. Called DoorDash support and says, we're in downtown. Why are you sending us 20 miles away, and the traffic is bad right now? There's no way we can take this order in that amount of time. They said, well, sorry, can't unassign it without a penalty back then. And we were green. We didn't know our rights. We didn't know what independent contracting was. So instead of wasting an hour in traffic trying to get to another zone, they were trying to zone hop us. Nowadays, we would just simply flat out reject and not care about acceptance rates. But back then, we did, and we were getting frustrated about excessive mileage. And we literally, I said in other videos, in the first 4 months of door dashing, we drove about 9,000 miles, almost close to 10,000 miles in 4 months. We were literally going 10 to 20 miles at least 3 times a day on orders. But our acceptance rate was over 95% though, back then. So we obviously were frustrated, as I said. Our car was wearing out quick, and we were spending a lot on gas. So we went to a Facebook group. And lo and behold, we were asking questions, trying to get advice, telling our situation. And there was a person named Bentley Coop, who we did not even know about, right? Basically telling us that, oh, I make this much, you should be able to too. Not knowing who he was, what market he was in. All he was literally doing is being belligerent, an ass know-it-all, and me being me, wanting to find out why and holding my ground, explaining to him our market. It's almost like it went in one ear, out the other, and he just literally said, well, if I can do it, so can you. DoorDash isn't the problem, you are. That type of attitude. I instantly just blocked him, stopped listening to him. Didn't know who this guy was. So later on, as we got more experience and I started watching other YouTubers that was starting to come out, as time went on, I found out about this guy by talking to the other 4 YouTubers. And I know that Gig Coach Jake and him had a beef because I heard Jake mention his name. And he was basically, they were in a feud of some sort. And I was on Jake's side, obviously, when I found out, wait, Bentley Coop, I know that name. I know is that ass that I was talking with in Facebook on chat, you know, and commenting and whatnot? Yeah, oh, don't tell me. It's that same guy. So this was back in like about 2020, summer of 2020, okay? About 7 months in since we first started. And by then we started learning, oh, from the other YouTubers, you can multi-app, you can do more than one platform. I didn't even know about Grubhub until they told me about it back in March of 2020. So I tried Grubhub back then. Grubhub was freaking great. So after the treatment, or to be in all honesty, lack of knowledge on our part, right? We left DoorDash, did Grubhub, and it was great for about 4 months, from March to July, and then Grubhub had a pay cut. Then UDM said, well, try Uber Eats, and all I knew about Uber was Uber ride sharing. Didn't know anything about the, the food component, right, of delivering food. So I signed up using a promo code to give UDM some credit. I think he got $50 when I did 20 deliveries or something like that back then. And literally, liked it for a bit, but then I realized after about 30 days, all the good offers were becoming less and less. Are you seeing a pattern even in today's world? They hook you in, give you really great offers, and then after about a month, they, like for Uber's sake, they removed all quests and boosts in our market after 6 weeks. Just dried up. I mean, I was making great money with Mrs. Valistad for about a good 4 to 6 weeks because we were doing the quest challenges. We were doing 20, 25 deliveries a day. We were just going, we didn't care about miles as much back then. So we were actually going to a second zone to get offers and all that. Still making good money, but at least the gas wasn't as bad because we're making more money than we were spending on gas back in 2020. Or I'm sorry, 2019. Years are getting mixed up. So again, started in 18, so we're in 2019 right now. So we were starting to see a pattern by the summer of 2019. Grubhub dropped pay. And Uber Eats, after, like I said, 6 weeks, no quests or boosts. And we couldn't figure it out, but later on we found out why. And the reason why is that after that period, they feel that you were, at that time, a veteran driver, so they removed the quests and boosts to reduce your pay so they could give new drivers the quests and boosts in our market. Because I talked to a driver, that I was saying, man, it's gotten bad. And then they're saying, what, really? I got a bunch of quests and boosts that's making money. And I was like thinking, wait, are you a new driver? And it dawned on me what they were doing, and they said, yes, they were a new driver. So anyway, back to the topic. Bentley Coop, I watched a couple of his videos just to find out, well, maybe he was just having a bad day on that Facebook post. And when I saw those couple of videos, I knew full on what was going on. He literally is a corporate shill. His philosophy is literally Team DoorDash. Take every offer on those 2 videos I saw back in 2019. And if you aren't making the money that he is, you're doing something wrong. Those were the 3 takeaways that I got. Then I heard there was feuds between him and all the other 4 YouTubers that was starting to happen. And, then basically bad blood. And then everyone was saying, well, don't cause drama, just ignore the fool, right? I mean, that's basically what the majority of people were saying. Because this guy, even though he has a lot of subscribers, it's the same thing. It's almost like he is pro DoorDash, anti-driver. He might have a partnership with them. I don't know. I'm not going to conjecture or speculate, okay? All I'm saying is might. This guy may have a partnership with them. Hell, his face was on the New York Stock Exchange when DoorDash IPO'd last year, along with other Dashers or other employees or whoever the hell those people were on the big board when they were IPO'd. This guy, from what I've been hearing, may or may not even really drive anymore either, because he's got, I think, 80,000+ subscribers. I don't keep count or track of them, but I know he's got a big following, which I'm taking a big risk here making this type of video. Because, you know, to be honest with you, I do it for the drivers. I try to inform drivers to not get used, don't drive excessive miles for these companies, work smarter, not harder. That's, you know, Gig Coach Jake saying, and I fully believe that. And if you're going to get a pay cut, give us a good reason instead of keeping us all in the dark. But we can all kind of conjecture and speculate why, and that means DoorDash isn't making a profit, they're publicly traded, they need to cut costs, they can't raise expenses in fear of losing customers to, you know, or raising rates on restaurants because they might lose them. So, in other words, they think that we are expendable as drivers, that we can just be easily replaced. So they're going to drop base pay or hide tips or do any of this other nonsense so that they can force drivers in today's world to take any and all offers so that they can get their service fees, like I've always said in all the other videos I've done. So, as of 2019, I keep hearing more and more about this guy, but I keep tuning him out. Come 2020 pandemic, I could care less about this fool. Honestly. You know, why stress out over someone that I completely have a philosophical, you know, disagreement with on all levels? This guy could give two shits about drivers based off of this picture I found on his Facebook. More money, less work. That is complete and utter crap. Do you drive anymore? I would say no. Based on the reaction video from Hannibal is hungry. This guy is so far out of touch, I think he lost his hands along the way with drivers. All he does is blame drivers, saying that we're whiners, that DoorDash is giving us a job, which is true, but without us drivers, there is no DoorDash, just like any other job. And in fact, I challenge you with these numbers. Because of the pandemic, restaurant and fast food workers have not come back. Half of the political spectrum is saying because it was stimulus and unemployment. The other half of the political spectrum is saying that they are being smarter and they might have been studying or getting some training during the pandemic, learning, trade, whatever you want to call it. So they don't want to go back to restaurant and fast food work. They want better jobs. So the restaurant and fast food industry has been hurt by lack of people wanting to come back to that industry, which we are currently in 2021 right now. So what have these places been doing? The answer, increasing wages. They have increased wages to an average of over $10 an hour. In some places I've shown in other videos, it's up to $15 plus. Over $15. Because no one wants to work it. One half of the political spectrum is saying that it's bad for big business and prices are going to go up. The other half of the spectrum is saying, well, it's about dang time because the cost of inflation, everything is getting more expensive for goods, services, everything like that. The truth is somewhere in the middle. But the fact remains, that pay has gone up to entice people to come work for them. Now, I know what some of you detractors are going to say. Well, if you don't like this job, quit. Find something better. Stop whining. To you, I say F you. F you. Some people like this job. They like the flexibility. How would you like it in your job that you're in? Have your effing employer decrease your wages by 15 to 20%. Are you going to go look for another job? Great, more power to you. But that's a W-2 job. This is an independent contractor job. We are our own bosses. We can control what we accept and reject, which is what we do. But the sheer fact remains, you can either stay at your job hating life because it's all you have right now. You don't have the training, you don't have the skills. Or do something about it and try to find another job, which may or may not be possible in your market. What gig app jobs like Doordash is continually doing is lowering pay to the point where they're forcing customers to tip to subsidize our pay and hopefully pay the difference to make up for it, which we all know the majority of times is not going to happen. I just did a video tipping a guy, a DoorDash driver, $40. And it only showed up as 11 on his app. And I was 7 miles away. That's borderline for a lot of drivers because I'm far away from the downtown restaurants. 7 miles. Round trip is 14. So I would say at least 30 to 40% of drivers would not take that order because they hide the tips to prevent cherry picking. You know what DoorDash is actually doing, Mr. Coop? They are going to piss off their customers. Why? The definition of tips is to ensure prompt service. If I tip, I expect a fast accept from the driver, immediate response to the restaurant, and as soon as the order is done, deliver it to me as fast as legally possible. Period. End of story. What DoorDash is doing, your corporate friend, they are punishing customers by hiding tips for the sake of their goddamn service fees that you are a proponent of because you're Team DoorDash. You are punishing customers from tipping because they hide the tips. So as a customer, which I now am because I ordered paying $40, a $20 in-app tip, and a $20 cash tip for him being gracious to give me that interview because I keep it real. I provide evidence. I am a driver. I show screenshots, and I do actual interviews with people. Roundtables for restaurant employees, drivers, and customers. Don't believe me? Watch the video. I took 2 Buffalo Wild Wings employees that have been there for years and asked them real questions like, do you guys hate delivery drivers like DoorDash? What the hell have you done other than just been a rah-rah cheerleader for DoorDash? I don't care about views. I don't care about subscribers. But if I ultimately at least get 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to give my money away from Google. The monetization that I get minus taxes is going to go back to my channel community. I don't sell swag, nor will I sell swag. I am not going to sell out to something I don't believe in, other than me being an independent contractor that I hold no allegiance to those guys, unlike you. So when you put a stupid ass picture like more money, less work, you are full of crap. I don't care if you watch this video. I don't care if you respond to this video. I simply don't care about you. I care about the driver community. So any driver that's Team Coop, more power to you. I'm not going to call you stupid. That is your right to believe in this guy. Just being aware that by doing so, however, you are going against your own self-interests. Because all you're doing is driving more miles, taking every offer, like this fool says, and making less money than being an actual business owner, which this guy says he's from the corporate world. I call bullshit on that too, unless he proves that he has a resume with proof, that with verification. I will not retract that statement. I know nothing about this guy. He could be lying for all he knows. I don't put my resume out there except working for Amazon, which anyone can work for Amazon. You don't know anything about me. I do come from the corporate world, but that was about 15 plus years ago. I left it to be my own small business owner, which is verifiable with other YouTubers. Own a computer repair business, which I'm about to give up soon. After 20 years, doing it on the side, and then becoming legit, and now it's a home-based business. Leaving Amazon, and now doing gig work, which may or may not change depending on how things go. So, this was my opinion and no one else's. No one forced me to do this. Again, if I get thumbs down on this, so the hell be it. But someone has to take a stand and set the record straight. Again, my opinion, no one else's. Technically speaking, I don't need to gig app, which is going to be another video next month. I keep saying in comments, what am I going to do if I don't do DoorDash? I said, well, right now I'm doing Grubhub. And DoorDash is an extreme distance second. And of course, Uber Eats, which I have the ability to do. I choose not to because they screwed me on not giving me my Quest bonus since March. I have standards, I have ethics, I have morals. If you want to call me a social justice warrior, so be it. I fight for what is right, and when I see a wrong, I'm going to call a company, I'm going to call a YouTuber, I'm going to call anyone out on it. Period. End of story. I fight for drivers because I am one. I am nice to restaurant staff because they help drivers. I am nice to customers because they provide the majority of our pay. What I will not stand for is the unfair rules from DoorDash, the lack of caring about distance to miles, or pay to distance, and their bullshit continual downward pay spiral. This is why I make videos like this, to call out anyone and anything that hurts drivers, period. So it's almost 30 minutes. That is the conclusion. Hopefully no one was too offended. But yeah, I'm tired physically, I'm tired mentally, and I'm tired of the bullshit that DoorDash or any other gig app continually does against drivers. So, thank you for listening. Like and subscribe if this video made you think long and hard about the topic you just listened to. Again, unscripted, off the cuff, getting it out there because someone has to. Thanks again.